have to buy.
Oh my!
Oh, see already. See already. Yeah.
Guys, it's a bit crazy. So, situation with obviously Suki and YK Osiris is coming, has come to the fray. Actually, came out last night, and but I was live at the time. But this is crazy because I think we've got to talk about consent, man. Right? Consent. Right? Now, if they didn't have a prior relationship, you can't judge first and foremost how she's gonna be okay with you coming on live TV while she's commenting, rubbing her shoulders, and then trying to. I don't know if I think he actually did get his lips on her as well, and kissing her. Unless you have a prior relationship, you know how each other are. You have some extent of knowing what you're doing right there is taking a mad risk. Now, I'm gonna call it what it is. It's sexual assault. I'm not gonna try to play around it. I'm not gonna try to belittle it. We're gonna give it its proper name. It's sexual assault. When you decide to, without consent, put your hands on someone's bum or someone's breast or someone's lips or whatever, try to kiss them, whatever, on any part of their body without their consent, it becomes sexual assault. Look, let's be very honest, right? That video, it has multiple layers. Let's just have a look at this, right? It starts here. You are at the shoulders, okay? You're rubbing her shoulders. That already is a problem, right? But you know what? You can probably get away with that. After she'd be like, you can have a conversation with her, and people be like, well, you probably shouldn't be rubbing her shoulders. Bro, like, leave her alone. You're invading her personal space. And everybody goes about their business, right? It's not cool. We don't like it. It's not nice. You know what I mean? And it can make people feel unsafe, right? If you're in their personal space. But I think probably Suki might not have been vexed about it. It's when you decide, right, that after rubbing her shoulders, you're going to put your face in her neck. So you can see her face is shocked right now, right? So already she's not really, this ain't looking too good, right?
Yeah,
Oh my!
Then here, when it gets to here, we got a huge problem, right? So you can see this, right? When it gets to here, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem because, and he's now reached around, put his hand underneath her chin, put his mouth on her face. She actually can't stop him. Right? Now, I don't think he was trying to do it so she couldn't respond. I think it was because of the way his position was. But the reality is now she can't really respond. She can't really respond by pushing you off because you've put your hand right underneath her throat. You've put your face all the way around to her face, right? She got nowhere really left to go, right? And so at the point, you can't even see if she's not really on it or not. But she's gonna, the first time is enough. But you're gonna go a second time, which is what's even more problematic. You're not reading the room, right? So watch this. Here, right? At this point in this time, bro, what the frick? Now, of course, some people who are not aware and are not paying attention to people's body language and how people actually can feel uncomfortable and not do anything. And I think I told you a story about I had a situation myself where there was a gay guy and he kept on flicking my chest. But because obviously I don't like putting people under pressure, I don't like people feeling some type of way, right? It was a little bit. I mean, if he had tried to kiss me, it would have been a fight. You know what I mean? It would have been a fight. But I'm saying, like, you can feel uncomfortable and not necessarily do a most physical action in return, right? First and foremost, we should be asking, do you want this? Like, he could have still made it sexy. Look, I don't know if Negroes think that it's not sexy for consent. You could have still made it sexy. You could have been rubbing her shoulder or at least been close to her and be like, listen, can I kiss you? In her ear. And then she could have said, you know what? No. And you would have been, all right, cool. And left it at that. It would have still been sexy. You could have whispered in her ear and said, listen, let me give you a kiss. And she would have been like, yes or no, and you could have gone from there. But instead, you moved on your own instinct and your own feelings and your own assumptions without asking any particular questions and went for it. You've now broken her boundaries by doing that, right? And actually, you started to impede on her sovereignty as an individual to have her own space, her own dominion over her own body. Okay. Let me go. Oh, sorry. So here again, you know, I won't even just show you. I have to go back because I think I want to be able to. Let me just scoot back because I missed a bit here, right? So she's obviously, you know, I'll zoom in now. Okay. Now, of course, obviously, she opens her mouth towards him, and so someone might misconstrue that. But the fact of the matter is, right, he hasn't asked for consent doing this, especially on live TV. This is just nuts. And obviously, in that moment too, like I said, because he's reached around her neck, and he did it again a second time, as you can see. He did it again a second time. His hand is around her neck area. So it's like you can't even properly resist. Now, I know she might be kind of laughing. It's sometimes the laugh is a shock, right? Sometimes the laugh is the shock. Sometimes the laugh is literally the shock. And I remember I told you about the responses: fight, flight, freeze, flop, befriend. Sometimes people in situations will befriend a person. So it will look like they're laughing, they're not. This is why consent's important, right? Befriending a person. All right. This is why you have to be very careful because people can flop, they can freeze, and they can befriend. And those can all be misconstrued. So you really need to be asking consent, right? Not everyone fights, not everyone screams at the top of their lungs, right? I know we want to have that, but that's not everyone's response, right? So now in a situation, of course, here. But every time she's leaning away, so she's rocking away from him. So he should really take some notification from the fact that she's not even trying to lean back into this. She's leaning away, right? But he doesn't realize this, right? Because he's so invested in himself and him trying to have a bit of fun at her expense, at her boundaries, that he doesn't realize it's madness. Now, if it was a gay guy and he was doing it to Osiris, he would have realized how quickly he'd feel offended, right? It's because we have a mindset that is entitled to being able to do whatever we want when it comes to women. If you have that mindset, you're able to do this without realizing, right? When you understand that you yourself have your own body and you want to be able to keep your own sovereignty of your body, you'll realize that, listen, I'm never going to go and overstep the mark and kiss someone without actually asking first, without actually really knowing the signs. There wasn't even no sign. He just walked up to her, started rubbing her shoulders, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, of course, someone could have said, look, she could have moved his hands off. But like I said all the time, sometimes the way that people react, it's not always to fight. There's freeze, there's flop, there's freeze, there's flop, there's to befriend, okay, as well. And those can look like, oh, the person might want it. No. They just try not to get hurt. And that's the reason why they're reacting the way they're reacting, right? Let's have a little bit more look at. The problem is he then starts going to other men like it's funny. He tried to kiss her, it's funny, and then goes to other boys to get validation at this point in time and moment for what he just did, right? So now he wants to dap from the boys, whatever. It's funny, it's hilarious. But the reality of the situation, you just assaulted somebody, right? And I want to be very honest with you guys. Look, consent is free. Okay, consent is sexy, right? Consent is essential, right? All you got to do is ask. Listen, can I kiss you? Can I put my hands? Can I touch you? Practice that, bro. Because some of your, and I don't want to hear nothing about the fact that, oh, she's got sexual. I'm going to discuss in part 2. I won't do this. I'm going to do a part 2. She's got sexual lyrics and da. That gives you no right to go and touch somebody, right? I don't touch people just because they put sexual lyrics. Now, maybe I might say something to you. If you say something, you say something naughty, I might say something naughty to you. If we have that conversation, then I might. I'm like, yo, what? Since we're talking naughty, at least then you can test the water. If you say something naughty and she's saying something naughty, do you know what I mean? You can test the water. And even then, I'm going to be very careful. I told you about this. I will tell you about a time. Listen, I don't play these games, bro. I don't play these games, bro. I've told you already, brother. Be careful, because I've seen this at the workplace situation where, and some women would like to play this flirting game. I'm not saying that's Suki. Like, it's not Suki at all. That's not Suki in this situation at all. But I'm telling you, like, consent is, trust me, get it. Because people like to play, right? But this ain't the situation for it. She was assaulted by YK Osiris. I know he's done an apology. Meek Mill's got involved. A host of different people have said their piece. Amber Rose too. I'll discuss that in part 2 and part 3. But this madness, bro. Yeah, you cannot just be putting your lips on people and not be asking. You just can't. You can't. Not at all. Right? Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads.